What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Real Ones Canes podcast. That man, if you're watching, sitting next to me, he's in a different room, but he's in the same room. We're all in this together. is Cam Underwood. He's managing editor at StateOfTheU. You can follow Cam at Underwood Sports. Go read the stuff at StateOfTheU. It is the best website when it comes to covering the Miami Hurricanes. It is free and open 24/7, 365. I am the Beast, Brian London. Follow me at Miami Radio Beast. And Cam, before we dive in to a lot of the stuff that we have to tackle, we are all still reeling from the game that Miami lost in Dallas. There's still fodder to be foddered over. I don't even know if that's a word, but I just made it up. One of the bright spots that came out of that game, though, maybe the only bright spot for me personally, because my mental health has been not so good since that game, is that we had a record number of views on YouTube. We had a record number of commenters. And I think I interacted with everybody that I felt was at least somewhat sane. So if you are watching this right now, please subscribe, please like, hit the thumbs up, share it. But if you go into the comments and make a comment, good or bad or ugly or indifferent, I will get back to you at some point in time. Cam may or may not jump in depending on his mood at the moment. A lot of people, Cam, I don't know if you know this or not, may have had something to say about your comments last show on JoJo Trader.
Cool.
So there was that. I saw plenty of that.
I mean, I went into the comments and I saw it as well. And I stand 10 toes down on what I said. Also, I gave JoJo praise for 5 catches for 81, for starting to show some of the playmaking ability that we've long heard of, But yeah, no, I ran over him with the bus backward and forward several times for that drop. That was game changing. It was not game losing.
No, I think in just after we've had a few days, I think the one thing I can say is there wasn't yes, Carson Beck did throw an interception that basically ended the game, but there was not one thing that lost that game for Miami. It wasn't just the refs. It wasn't just JoJo Trader. It wasn't just Carson Beck. It wasn't just our center who got blown back off the line again. It was a lot of things that came together to equal the L.
As much as you just said, I mean, there's that and more that went wrong, and things like if they would have gone right, you know what I mean? And again, there are people who I saw in the comments and then also hit us in reply to posting the show on Twitter, because it's still Twitter. It's not a single letter. It's Twitter. Mama named it Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter. But a whole bunch of people were saying, well, to not mention culpability for the refs is naive, and you guys are in your 40s. I'm not saying the refs were not culpable. I'm not saying that it was a proper call to look at JoJo Trader getting tackled in the end zone as the number one target on the play that ended on the interception to Malachi Toney and not call that. I'm not saying that it was a proper call to look at a player, extend both hands, grab and yank for pass interference with the sideline in front of the side judge and the back judge, and they throw the flag for it and then pick it up. I'm not saying that was right. It was incontrovertibly wrong. Okay, we're all on the same page there. My viewpoint, the prism through which I make my analysis and always have is relative to the performance of the Miami Hurricanes, right? So if Elijah Lofton had not dropped that touchdown, if JoJo Trader had completed that catch up the seam that was the interception, I'm just looking at things that were there for Miami to do that Miami could have handled, and had they handled them, would have ended in a win. Just because I'm focusing there, which has always been my prism of analysis, does not mean I'm discounting or ignorant of other factors. And as Brian said, there are plenty of factors that combine, all their powers combined, they were Captain Planet, and Captain Planet for Miami was a loss on Saturday.
Yeah. Just on the official thing, because this leads me to a topic I wanted to get to, but then I was like, no, I don't want to get to it.
It's so obvious we got to talk about it.
Yeah, Dabo Swinney came out and ripped the ACC for their officiating. Had I thought ahead, I would have cut the clip, but you can go search it for yourself. Just Google Dabo Swinney, ACC refs. You'll find it. I don't think I've ever agreed with Dabo on anything except for this. He's right, man. The ACC, there needs to be accountability for these refs. They need to do a better job. And we'll get to the CFP rankings here in this segment in a second. The ACC did a good job of promoting the University of Miami on their official Twitter last night, and I slid into those comments, and everyone was like, oh, you want us to be good now, except you sent us the crappiest officiating crew in the history of mankind. And I've gotten plenty of feedback on my Twitter account, and I'm sure you have too, from Florida State fans and Clemson fans who are like, well, you think you get the worst officiating, we get the worst officiating, and no, we get the worst officiating. And I could argue with them about who really gets the worst officiating, but the one thing that binds us all together is we're all in the ACC, and the officiating in the ACC is terrible.
I will have to say that Miami takes the cake because not only are the bad calls against Miami, there are so few calls against the opponent.
Yes, I mean, I agree with you. I'm just simply stating the entire officiating profession as it relates to the ACC needs to be overhauled. It's terrible.
I agree. And I tweeted, I was up late working because, I'm a night owl and I was writing stuff then. And I saw the Dabo comments and I quote tweeted and said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I fear that Dabo cooked here with this one because he did. And he went on to even further give details. So pulling back the curtain a little bit, which might earn him another fight because he got fined $10,000 for what he said directly after the game last week for Clemson, which also had some bad calls. He's saying, look, I'm not saying that those lost us the game. We did enough to lose also, but there's so many game-changing calls that change the state of affairs in the game that they contribute to whatever the outcome is. And he got fined for that. But then he also said, so we routinely use the structure in place to send plays to the ACC office and say, we need clarity on this. I need a second look. I need ruling. And then, they'll send it and he, cosplaying, reading we apologize for these errors, but this is what and he also let it be known that each team can only send a maximum of 10 plays per week for secondary evaluation or whatever. Because it's not, it's not a protest or anything. You're not going to relitigate the game. But it's just like, we think, and he said he stopped himself. He said, I'm not going to say which game because that is directly commenting on officiating. But there was a game earlier in the year where we went through and we watched the film after the game and we had 14 plays with calls that we needed or felt we wanted to supply to the ACC for their evaluation. You can only submit 10. So then you got to pick and choose and things like that. So I'm like, I knew that there was the submission procedure because Mario's mentioned it. But we've submitted plays and they're looking for, clarification or whatever. But now you're like, it's only 10 plays. So now I'm like, which 10 plays are we going to take? You know what I mean? Okay, so you're going to get the pass interference that they threw and then picked up. You're going to get the pass interference on the last play that wasn't called. You're going to get the Marquise Lightfoot roughing the passer malarkey. That's going to be one. Probably one, if not both, of Francis Mauino's holds where the defensive lineman went ass over tea kettle and he lost his own balance. And then CC was just like, cool, I'm going to sit on you. You know what I mean? That's not holding, but cool, because the defender ran himself into their position. But I'm like, I've already come up off the top of my head with those plays. You know what I mean? You're not going to go for the illegal lineman downfield because that play went on for 22 seconds and he was 15 yards down the field. You know what I mean? You're not going to do that. But there were so many plays. But whatever. Even still, had Miami done what they needed to do in the plays that were there, Miami would have won the game. That is true. And the officiating was caca and continues to be, is also true.
Do you know who the head of officials for the ACC is?
No.
His name is Al Riveron. That name should sound familiar to all sports fans. He was involved with and I think at one point in charge of the referees in the NFL.
and got unceremoniously dismissed from that role
and is now in the ACC. So that's kind of a demotion, but still. Also, Al Riveron, his real name is Alberto Riveron. I can't even say that, but he's of Cuban descent and grew up in Miami. I'm just saying that, like, maybe, brother, just can you look out for your hometown team a little bit? Like,
no. He's one of those self-hating. I need to go away. I'm trying to get out of here. I don't want anything to do with where I'm from. People,
tell the boys in the Stripes, hey, that was my hometown team. Like, maybe don't screw them.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, even just from hearing that, the hood don't love him and he don't love the hood. So he's one of those, long story short, I used to work at high schools, and I worked at the high school that Johnny Depp once attended. And we tried to reach out to Johnny Depp come back for a thing. And he was like, I was a theater kid and I was bullied. And there was one person there who I liked, and he was a chemistry teacher, Ignacio Garcia. He worked there for 43 years. I love that man. And so did Johnny Depp. And he said, I will go there. And whenever I'm home, I talk to him. And that is it. Do never contact me again. And I feel the same about Mr. Riveron. Yeah, the hood don't love him. He don't love the hood. And he's just bad at his job. So across, 25, 30 years. So come on.
He's not good. All right. Let's dive into the CFP rankings. We're recording this on Wednesday afternoon, just after 3:00. The rankings were released last night, Tuesday night, and I have heavy thoughts on the way things panned out. I don't know what your thoughts are, but are they heavy or are they just minor? Because I'm trying to think of which one of us should go first on this.
I live tweet a lot of the things, and I live tweeted it, and I wrote about the state of affairs with Miami being ranked 18th. And then, everybody was talking about, well, what would need to happen to potentially have Miami move into a place that would earn them a berth into the college football playoff. And I wrote about that last night, which is why I was up super late. But
that's right there on the front page of StateOfTheU.com.
Hello, you should go check it out. So I think that my thoughts and opinions are widely known, especially from what I said and all the things that I retweeted and commented on. So I will abdicate the floor to you, the good Mr. London, to lead the conversation, because my thoughts are well out there. So yeah. I look to you to be the meat and potatoes. I'll be the roasted asparagus on the side of this delicious meal of CFP ranking commentary.
So there was outrage by Miami Hurricane fans, which brought up a very great dichotomy, right? On one hand, man, we suck. Fire everybody. Fire this, fire that. We need a brand new offense. We need a brand new this. Everything sucks about Miami right now. We're Miami Hurricane fans. We hate this. On the other hand, wait, why are we 18th? We're awesome. We're the best. We beat Notre Dame. Blah, blah, blah. So that was an interesting dichotomy on the Twitter sphere. But here are my thoughts. Win your games. You have nothing to worry about. You did not win your games. So
true.
Yes, Notre Dame. Guess what? Is it surprising to you that the College Football Playoff Committee would have Notre Dame ranked as high as they possibly can be ranked? Because it shouldn't surprise you. Have you been watching college football for the last 100 years? Because I'm not sure if you know this or not, but since the time of Beano Cook, has Notre Dame been ranked and pushed as much as possible by the college football elites? So there is that. And two, if you just go by the eye test, like you just flip on the TV, maybe last Saturday, if you will, this past Saturday. Would you say that Miami is playing better than Notre Dame right now? Would you say that Miami is a better team than Notre Dame or anyone else above them right now? Because right now,
again,
Miami is not playing their best football, and all last night's rankings were a snapshot into right now.
I disagree.
But let me finish though.
Sorry.
And we can disagree on that point. I'll argue that point. But what I will say is this: go win the next 4 games, win out, and then see where you land. Because I think I'm starting to come around to, if you win the next 4 games, you have a chance to still make it to the college football playoff. That's how I feel.
That's what I wrote on StateOfTheU.com. It will take winning all 4 games and much more. I think that you need specific results in head-to-head college football ranked team games ahead of you.
But go lose to NC State or at Pitt, and then it's all done.
I hear you.
Yes.
I wrote it after the Louisville loss. I said the only way to get there is to win out. We're preaching the same sermon here, brother. You know what I mean? I already said it. Look, you got to go 11-1 because if you go 10-2, then they're going to find a way to keep you out because they did the exact same thing when you were 10-2 and 6-2 in conference last year. And people, oh, you're stupid, and every season is its own unique thing. Those people are mysteriously silent to me today. I will say again, yes, you got to win out. Yes, you need specific results in ranked college football playoff team matchups moving forward in conference, SEC, Big Ten, well, really SEC and ACC. Because of where those teams fall. And you're going to need somebody to pull out they're going to need to Miami it or Clemson it up and lose to a team that they shouldn't, or a couple. And I put lists in this piece. So if you're wondering which ones, StateOfTheU.com is right up there. I did all the work because people were asking me about it. What I will say is the college football rankings, college football playoff seeding ranking process is by its own structure and bylaws an objective measure process, not vibes, not the eye test. I'm not saying it. They said it in their charter on how they were going to do this. And then all of a sudden it's vibes only. And then whatever the Mac Rhodes from Baylor, the head of the committee who's the AD at Baylor, I already said Baylor, but whatever. He comes out and says, well, for Miami, it's consistency.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Then asked another follow-up question. So do when losses happen matter? No. So when you lose to this point is immaterial, and head-to-head is the number one tiebreaker for ranking, which they used in 4 other instances, with the single exception of 6-2 Notre Dame and 6-2 Miami, where Miami is 18th and they're 10th. That is unacceptable. It's unacceptable because, again,
Cam, let me ask you a question.
They did what they did based upon head-to-head. And again, I'm fine with being ranked behind Louisville because Louisville beat us and all these things, right? But they did it in every other instance except with the University of Miami. Ooh, I almost cursed.
Ken, let me ask you just this question. Because really when I woke up this morning, this is the one question I asked myself. And when I answered it, it all made sense to me. Right now, on Wednesday, November 5th, does the University of Miami deserve to be in the college football playoff the way they're playing right now? As of Wednesday, November 5th.
Just answer the question. No.
Answer
that's immaterial.
It's not immaterial.
It is to Notre Dame being 8 places above us.
No, I don't. Forget about Notre Dame. I don't care about Notre Dame. All I know is when I look at us playing right now, we don't deserve to be in right now.
So the first games don't count. They don't matter. So Florida State doesn't matter. Florida doesn't matter. Notre Dame doesn't matter. USF doesn't matter.
It matters.
To the lowest number of points this year.
It matters. But if I'm just going to throw 12 teams on the wall right now of who's playing the best football in the United States, we are not one of them.
That's not the point of evaluation. You are being like the college football playoff, where you are changing the goalposts to fit your emotions.
You're right. I have to think like them.
I disagree on a foundational level because I'm not moving the goalposts. I'm going by what they say the measure of evaluation is. And even if I were to answer and say, no, Miami does not deserve to be in the college football playoff at present. 14th versus Notre Dame's 13th is still on the outside looking in. It is a farce. It is a travesty for that committee to put Miami 18th and Notre Dame 10th. I stand on that.
Oh, okay. I agree with you on that point, but I still would say, yeah, we don't deserve to be in it right now.
Right. And again, I say even if you had Miami ranked 14, 15, they wouldn't be in it. And I think that would be reasonable. And I agree with that. I do. But when you add on the other parts, and look, Louisville should be really upset by where they're ranked. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
How about Georgia Tech?
Georgia Tech should be upset. They should. Absolutely. It's not exclusive to mine. But when I saw Miami at 18, and then I said, oh, boy. Wow. So what they're saying is the ACC, while people might fancy that conference to be a clear number 3 behind the SEC and Big Ten, what the College Football Playoff Committee is clearly saying, and I need to go look and see who's in the room because, my God, what they're saying is this conference is a clear 4th with a large gap behind the Big 12. Like, it's... they're setting up the ACC as a one-bid league. Like, we're the Mountain West.
I would say this. There's a couple things I know about college football that will never change, okay? Here's what I know. 1, they will always push Notre Dame no matter what. 2, they will always try to push down the University of Miami.
True.
And 3, they will never, ever, no matter what data you have, no matter what the facts say, no matter what, they will never, ever get over themselves of not believing in the ACC as a football conference.
And you put all of those things together, and that's how you get the rankings in the iteration that they are. And I go back to
also Miami's playing like crap. What? Huh?
That I said after the Louisville game, which is a game that we should not have lost, except for Carson Beck throwing the ball to the other team 4 times.
Yep.
I had been saying it. You have to win all your games. The playoffs for Miami have already started. And if you go to 10-2 and 6-2 in conference, which means you're not going to make it to the ACC championship game, so you're not even in that part of the conversation, you're going to be on the outside looking in, going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl or the Duke's Mayo Bowl or whatever. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'll be there and I'll be here in Fort Lauderdale in my apartment or something, live tweeting the game, but like, oh yeah, getting excited for a Pop-Tarts Bowl where a third or half the
listen,
team
man, we've seen it. We've seen it before. Like these bowl games that are not in the playoff, like just don't mean anything. They're just it's worthless.
And I will treat it like an exhibition. I will try some new formations of content on the website. Sure. You know, hey, we'll do, but like, yeah, no. But again,
we'll do a whole Luke Nickel feature.
Let's do it. But again, this is what the performance on the field has yielded us.
On that note, we will take a break. Cam and I both let the Twitter sphere know that we needed some topics to discuss, some questions, some queries.
And wanted to hear from y'all.
And just like we like interacting with you on the YouTube page, on the comment section, we will like to answer what's in our quote-unquote mailbag. So we will do that and more on the other side. You're listening and watching the Real Ones Canes podcast. Welcome back to the Real Ones Canes podcast. He's Cam Underwood, managing editor, State of the U. Follow Cam on Twitter at Underwood Sports. I'm Brian the Beast London. Follow me at Miami Radio Beast. Cam, StateOfTheU.com. We talked about it last segment. You've got a nice big article, front page. There's Mario's surly look as you write about what it will take to get Miami into the CFP, but there's a lot of stuff going on StateOfTheU.com.
Yeah, man, to see people, the community members, not just myself getting involved on the feed. So there's plenty of that going on over here on the right-hand frame. All the help Miami needs to get to the college football playoffs. Oh, even more comments from when I last looked. The rankings piece from the college football playoff, ACC power rankings. And as you can tell by the lead photo, Miami's not up top. Dear JD for Justin Tavio, he says, I think I want a divorce. Yikes. Injury updates for this week. from Mario's Monday presser, and all kinds of other stuff. So please come on and fan with us. Check us out, StateOfTheU.com.
By the way, we were remiss, just in case you are living on Mars, Miami will be without CJ Daniels and OJ Frederique. They may be without Ahmad Moten, and they're probably going to be without Mark Fletcher.
Yeah, Daniels and Frederique, Cristobal said multiple weeks for them. So that puts into question, will they play again this year? At this point of the season, just, it's November the 5th, multiple weeks. We only got 4 games left.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mark Fletcher got dinged up at SMU. He will be out this week. So step into the spotlight. Marty Brown, Jordan Lyle, and Gerard Pringle, who was mentioned by name by the head coach. So was Chris Wheatley-Humphrey. It was 2 answers down for Wheatley-Humphrey. So
sorry.
I will go by what the order, because it's one of those things like in the world of recruiting, you ask kids open-ended, hey, what schools are you talking to? Not, hey, Cam Butterworth from State, you come to the Miami Hurricanes, how's your recruitment going relative to Miami? You know what I mean? So I think the fact that Pringle was the one who Cristobal thought of and mentioned first kind of tells the story. Also, Ahmad Moten Sr. Is probably, Mario said, closer to 50-50 for the game, but we will see if and when he has on-field workout a la Akeem Meslo from a couple weeks ago, when it was very apparent that he could not play.
Yeah, we will be there early and watching that. All right, that's the injury update. Let's get to the mailbag. Let's combine 2 questions we got on the Twitter sphere. One, when will Mario get Miami right, and can Miami get Miami right?
Miami-O, that's a new name for Mario. Okay, I'll take it. Can he? Yes. I think.
Kenny?
I think. Talent is the first thing is we have Jimmy's and Joe's.
Can I just throw a timeout in there for 1 second? Because this has come up a lot. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's my ADHD. It does that. I agree with a lot of people that are saying the following. If anyone can get it right, it's Mario. And if it's not Mario, it may not be anyone. Because no one understands this place better than him.
Sure.
So that's kind of my thoughts on that. But yeah, go ahead.
So to piggyback on what he said, I think he can. This is a guy who does know how to coach football. He has won games. We saw what he did at Oregon. We know that he was on the Saban staff. We saw what he did at FI with Pete Garcia fighting him at every single turn. You know what I mean? So I think that he can. I'm not sure that he will. And those are 2 different things. I think he has the ability. I don't know if he will realize that potential. That goes to the other part of the question of when, and who knows? Could it be next year? I don't see it, but okay. Because you really built everything. Like last year, fine, you caught lightning in a bottle. You had Cam Ward, the bomb squad, squander that. This year, you have a better overall roster. The defense is light years better from last year, but then you fumble 2 games that realistically you should have won both. I don't know.
Okay. Well, just think about this. Think about who you're losing off this team, and how are you going to replace them? Right? Tackles.
That's every team always.
No, but I'm just saying, I don't think you're going to next year. I don't think you're better than this year.
Fair. No, I agree.
Okay,
so
maybe
2 or 3 years, maybe then.
Maybe, yeah, sure. Maybe. But when I look to next year, I'm like, okay, maybe you find some stuff in the portal. Who knows what happens? But I don't think you're better talent-wise.
I really agree with you. And if you're looking at, I know a lot of coaches, they win their championship within the first 5 years, and we're year 4 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we're winning a championship next year, which then puts Mario outside the window of the trajectory of most coaches winning their first title within the first 5. So question mark. Like, I don't know, 2027, 28, like 2 or 3 years on down the line. Because again, Miami has more talent than anybody that we're playing, and we still lose these mother freaking games. So yikes. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. By the way, just can you get Miami right? does getting something, it's like, when will Mario get Miami right? Can Mario get Miami right?
Mm-hmm.
Does right mean a championship?
I mean, I paraphrased the question, but yeah, absolutely it does. Right back, whatever you want to say. Like, I mean, is Miami in a better state as a program than when Manny Diaz was here? Yes, I wholeheartly believe that.
And don't give me Manny Diaz's ACC record versus Mario's. Like,
right.
If you were watching, like, listen, please don't stop.
Exactly. But my point is, that's better than it was, but it's not right. It's not back. It's not at full operating capacity, which we've seen for a week here and a week there. You know what I mean? But like, being the state of affairs in an ongoing kind of situation, it has to be championships. And that could be an ACC championship. That could be, I mean, and I know that, it sounds like I'm just ho-humming it, but like, we've only been to one ACC championship game ever, and it's probably not going to be number 2 this year based upon losing games that you shouldn't have lost. But, it is what it is.
All right, next one. Bowl game projections. Actually, I skipped one, so we'll go to this one, and then we'll go back to the one I skipped. Bowl game projections. I'll be honest with you. I don't care.
Me either. You can look it up. I retweeted Manny Navarro of The Athletic. He tweeted out what the structures are. You can go back and look at StateOfTheU.com, because it's a copy and paste piece that I would write every year. Miami's bowl eligible. We're trying to get it to a tier 1 bowl. This is how the picks go. This is where the places are. Da 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 da. You saw it last year. 10-2 was the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando when we missed the playoffs. Assume if you go 10-2, it would be something like that again. If not that, then maybe the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte. If not that, then like the Military Bowl or the Yankees Bowl or whatever in New York, the Fenway Bowl in Boston. The same bowls that we've been talking about for the last 10 years, guys. Those are all of the ones. The Sun Bowl out in the place where civilization goes to die, El Paso, Texas, where I've been once, and if I never go back again, it would be too soon.
By the way, as I've said about that trip every time it's come up, because I have never gone, I will El Paso on El Paso.
Oh no, no, I've been there one time, and like, never going again will be too soon. Absolutely not. You're better flying into Albuquerque and driving than anywhere in Texas, because if you're coming from Houston, I believe from Houston, it's 847 or 873 miles west in the same state. No, thank you. But yeah, all the places that we've talked about and bandied about of potentially going for bowl games these last 15 years, those are the bowl games that could potentially fall into the projection at 10-2, 9-3, 8-4, whatever the record is from here on out. All of the places with names that you know. And now the bowl game might have a different name because sponsors change and stuff. But again, all the same bowl games are the same bowl games that the ACC has been partnered with. So it would be one of those.
I just pulled up a map. El Paso is really near nothing. I don't know.
It's near nothing. And like I said, I've been there once. It's where civilization goes to die. Absolutely not. No. No. There's not enough money.
Here's the question. Would you like to see more spread offense? Up-tempo spread, air raid spread, what Dawson kind of is trained in, 60% pass. I have so many thoughts.
I personally have been pushing for such an offensive system in previous pieces that I've written on State of the U going back now probably 13, 14 years.
I've been pushing for a spread since I saw a spread for the first time in like 2003.
Yeah. Right. I mean, no, also as well, but I'm just saying, even on the website that, I'm with, like you can look it up, and I have been pushing for that. The thing about that is, regardless of what you or I or anybody might want, we're going to get what Mario Cristobal gives us.
Correct.
And it's going to be spread to run, but not even in a quarterback read option way. It's going to be a power-based run game with all of the run schemes that we've talked about. It's going to be inside zone. It's going to be split zone. It's going to be outside zone. It's going to be duo and more duo and more duo. It's going to be power. It's going to be all of the things between the tackles. And I mean, maybe not as much between the guards, but yeah, between the tackles, it's going to be that. P.S. By the way, I took notes on the run distribution of like run plays called last week. It was not bad. We ran a lot of pin and pull, another outside scheme. We ran a lot of, outside. I mean, it was. Let me flip back on this page in my notebook. Excuse me 1 second.
No problem. Actually, I was looking at that too, and there was a play that I saw. I was like, oh man, another stupid run between the A gaps. And then when I went back and watched the replay, I was like, oh wait, no, the line. It's actually what did happen is the line did shift, and that run actually went to the outside. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Right, it was outside zone, which will hit in an A gap, but the A gap has moved 8 yards laterally.
Correct.
By my initial count, I didn't even rewatch the game because we lost him with some malarkey. But to my untrained eye, I have it with 22 inside zone power duo inside run schemes and 11 outside zone pin and pull schemes. And then we had 2 laterals to Malachi Toney that were quick screens, but they were backwards, so those count as runs. You had 3 quarterback scrambles on called pass plays and 1 quarterback sneak. So like it 2-to-1 inside to outside, but and I want to say I also might have miscategorized 1 or 2 outside zones as inside zone because it's going quick and I'm multitasking a billion things. So it might have even been, let's call it 18-14-ish in favor of inside run schemes. That's not bad, as much as now when the plays failed because they had 11 guys in the box on 4th and 1 and said, we dare you to run power, which was gashing all day in a normal flowing between the 20s offense. But then 4th and 1, shunk. And then you see Brockermeyer get blown off the ball. The pulling guard couldn't get to where he needed to be to pull on power. And then, so now that run scheme was rendered moot and ineffective because of the usage in that situation. So, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get that out there. But, I mean, you're going to get an offense that's going to be based upon that because Mario Cristobal is an offensive lineman, an offensive line coach, and he believes we're going to beat you up at the line of scrimmage. Remember earlier in the year when I wrote the piece, the Miami Hurricanes were the bullies of Mario Cristobal's dreams? Because I do. It's up on StateOfTheU.com. And even if the success is not there, he still wants to be bully ball Mario. And that's what we're going to get. So I give you that whole diatribe to say, would I, myself personally, like to see more of a spread, i.e., why are we going to all these condensed formations with all the receivers a half step outside the tackles and everything, where we're trying to go tight to space? You can go tight to space every now and then. Sean McVay from the Rams is a master at scheming wide open spaces from tight formations. You're not that good of a play caller, right? And you're just not, and you're not as successful in creating space from tight formations. So yeah, I would like to use the width of the field more, but that's just me. And I can want it, but Mario's not going to give it.
Listen, this team is going to have the characteristics of the head coach. So to even bring up, hey, let's run spread is almost laughable to me because it's like, what is it going to take to run spread? A new head coach. Mario Cristobal just that's not his DNA. You just have to, you have to know what you're working with.
Or to change the iteration of spread. Right. Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, let's. I'm going to bounce around real quick because we're talking about Mario being an offensive line guy. We got a question. Is Mario's expertise in being an offensive line guy detrimental to getting elite skill guys? Don't get too many top end wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, safeties, cornerbacks. Is that true? We don't get top end guys?
Here comes ye old notebook again, because I wanted to be sure that I could deliver facts for this question.
Okay.
Since Mario has been here, right? And you know what? I added quarterback to this because they count. Jakari Brown, I know it did not work out, was a blue chip player, 16th at his position at quarterback in 2022. Luke Nickel was a top 10 quarterback last year. That's not even mentioning Cam Ward and Carson Beck. And I know Carson Beck is not as good as Cam Ward. I know. Those are pretty good gets at that position.
Go to the skill guys, though.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to move my notebook here in front of me. Trevante Citizen was a top 10 running back in 2022, had a debilitating injury, and that sucked. Yep. But everybody in America wanted that man. Mark Fletcher flipped him from Ohio State, the number 6 running back in 23. Chris Johnson Jr., also 2023. Jordan Lyle also flipped him from Ohio State, blue chip 2024. Gerard Pringle, 2025. And that's before you get to Damian Martinez and Marty Brown in the portal. 4-star wide receivers, Isaiah Horton, Robbie Washington. I know it didn't work out with Robbie Washington, but still. Ray Joseph, JoJo Trader, Nye Carr, Chance Robinson, Joshua Moore, Malachi Toney, Dalen Upshaw, all those at wide receiver. Jaleel Skinner, Riley Williams. I know it didn't work out here for them, but still, they were everybody's All-American and everybody wanted them. Elijah Lofton, Brock Schott, Luka Gilbert at tight end, at corner. All 4 stars now. Chris Graves, Kamari Rogers, the Harris kid from Atlanta, Robert Stafford, Damari Brown, O.J. Frederick, freshman All-American, Amari Wallace, Jabari Antoine, Chris Ewald from Chaminade over Georgia, blue chip, by the way, Markeith Williams, Caleb Spencer, who's the best player on Virginia Tech's team, by the way, who nobody in America was recruiting but Miami. Cool, got it. Zaquan Patterson, I know it didn't work out, but that's not my fault. Ryan Mack, Dylan Day, and Bryce Fitzgerald. I didn't do the whole number count, but to say that we're not getting elite or top-end blue chip skill players is a fallacy. It's simply false. Now, I know the pushback is going to be, what about Jeremiah Smith? What about DJ Pickett? You are correct. There are other players, some of the better players, who have gotten away, and I've written about it and we've talked about it. But to say that like we're not getting anybody, first of all, is just fallacious. It's wrong. But you can question, okay, what's the ratio and who are the blue chip players? Because again, we're not getting from the top of the list. We're getting near the top of the list, but not from the very, very top of the list. And then you might also say, okay, what's up with the injuries? What's up with the lack of development and deployment? You could say all of those things, but sit here.
I was just going to say, like, more than half of those guys you just mentioned either are hurt or didn't play here or played here and didn't pan out.
Right. But to sit here and try to say Mario's not delivered elite recruiting classes and, gourmet ingredients to like make a gourmet meal with, like we're not trying to take, chopped liver or chitlins and make it into a gourmet meal. Like all these dudes that I named were huge recruits from across the country that damn near everybody wanted. And that's just at the skill positions, not even getting into the lines and everything. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just see that as being, it's not necessarily true. I think that people, and I understand why, are focused on the misses more than the hits. But when you miss on a DJ Pickett, who's a top 10 player in America, and you miss on Jeremiah Smith, who's the best player from down here, the best prospect I've seen in 25 years, I understand how that will stick to the forefront of people's brains.
Oh, yeah, of course. All right, 2 left.
Yes.
1, portal entries. Any sure thing portal entries?
I mean, there's going to be portal entries. It's just the nature of the game at this point. I'm not going to necessarily put I'm not at a point where I desire to make predictions on who might leave this roster. But will there be departures? Yes, because it's college football, and that's the way that things work now.
Yeah, I don't think it takes much imagination to think about who's not playing as much as they probably thought they should.
Bingo.
And who thinks they can go do better elsewhere, and to come up with some names. By the way, I apologize for my dog. Right now, my 2 dogs are fighting over a toy, and the older dog does not like that the younger dog is faster and can get the toy faster than he can. So we're having a battle over here. That's what's happening.
Got it. Okay.
Let's see. Why don't reporters go scorched earth on Mario at press conferences and ask pointed, challenging questions? I have a lot to say on this one, but I'll let you go first.
Because it's a balancing act of getting the information and evaluating the situation while maintaining your access to do so. Because you do not want, like, remember, and like, I'm from Detroit, I'm a Pistons fan, but remember the one year, the burn the boats playoff year,
Yep.
whatever. It was like game 7, like we pulled up, we're Warriors, we're going somewhere else, burn the boats because we're not going back home because either we win or we die type thing. It's your job to be here every day. You know what I mean? As a reporter.
Right.
So you cannot go scorched earth. You cannot burn the boats because, like, you got to go home and then roll your behind back over here tomorrow. So, yeah, it's just a measure of that. Plus the fact the University of Miami is a private school and they can get away with different kinds of policies and procedures across the board, including with sports information, that public schools cannot. So that's my judicious way of answering. Share your thoughts, sir.
Here's what I will say, because I've gotten this for the last, almost 30 years that I've been doing this. Whoa, why don't you guys walk in there and do whatever? And, oh, Marley, be quiet. I'm trying to answer your question. And here's what I'll say. Do you go to your job and scorch earth? Because what we do at a press conference or after a game or wherever there's a gaggle or a Zoom session is our job. It is an occupation. Mm-hmm. And there is a decorum and a way you act in your job and your occupation.
Fact.
And so you need to be able to come up with a way to ask a question that can get the answers to what you want to know about, but do it in a way that is going to be acceptable in the forum that you are asking that question in. If we walk into a post-game press conference and let's say, well, not the first question. The first question is always asked by Homer that always gets to ask the first question. But the second question, let's say the second question is asked by me. If I go scorched earth, guess what happens?
You don't get called on anymore. Hey,
well, no, I'll never get to ask a question again. 2, I may not have a press pass anymore. But 3, Mario Cristobal will just walk off the podium and leave. And then that's it. Like there's no more. That's it. It's all shut down, because that's what's going to happen. There is, believe it or not, there are actual rules to journalism, and maybe they're not written down, but they certainly exist. So I can't express this enough. I would love. I've wanted to do this forever. Hey, whoever you are that wants scorched earth and this question or that question, okay, come with me. Come with me to a press conference and sit down in the seat and have the coach walk in and understand the setting you're in, and all eyes are on you, and the SID is looking at you, and you raise your hand to ask a question, and he calls your name, and now I want, okay, big bad boy, go for it. Have at it. See if you can do it.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's not a matter of courage. It's just there's a certain way to act, and maybe there's a bigger issue about the way we act today in America, and blah blah blah, and all the whatever. I get that, but I guarantee you, if you're watching this or listening to this, and you are gainfully employed in one way or another, you don't go to your job and go scorched earth, because you would get fired, and the same thing would happen to us.
Yeah, plain and simple facts. Even doing this is, a side hustle, a passion project. Like, still, like, I have a credential. So there's a relationship with the athletic department.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you or I or whoever is getting paid to be there. It is a role that we are in, right?
No, yeah, absolutely, and that's what. Yes, that's what I was saying. And it's like you and I are both alums. You and I are both fans of the teams and the programs and all those things. But just to put a final point on it, going scorched earth is emotional fanboy behavior. It is not professional journalist, even lowercase j journalist, blogger, because I'm not a journalist. Like, I will always make the distinction. Like, there are people who do this for a profession. They've studied this. They're trained in this. Whatever. I look at it from my perspective, which is not that of a vetted, trained journalist. But even still, like little j journalist, blogger, versus capital J journalist, like it is unacceptable to act in such a way, and to be that it's being a fan in a professional setting, and those two things unfortunately do not necessarily mix. And so that's why it's not, hey, you suck, da 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 da. And look, you saw Adam Lichtenstein a couple weeks ago. He asked the run game question, and he asked it cleanly, professionally. But the fact that he asked it did get under Shannon Dawson's skin and everything. You're muted if you were saying something while I was saying.
Nope, I'm trying to limit the dog barking.
Got you. But yeah, so like you can address the topics in a way that is professional and not unprofessional. And basically, to my eyes, the scorched earth and bringing the Twitter tone of a question to a press briefing is unprofessional, and that's why.
Believe it or not, when we go to the press conferences, we can't act like we are behind our keyboard typing some anonymous question on the Twitter sphere as, Dan5467932X5. Like that is not how it works. So again, anytime if one of you wants to come along, Cam and I'll get you a press pass. You can come along.
I was gonna say he'll do it, not me.
I will get you a press pass, and you can walk down after a game into the press conference room, and you can sit there and think that you're about to go scorched earth. But then guess what? The lights are going to come on, and it's going to be a certain format in a certain way, and you're going to go, "What? You know what? Maybe I shouldn't ask the question the way I'd like to ask the question."
I'm going to personalize this to wrap it up. I was so pissed after the Georgia Tech game.
Oh,
the non-fumble Donald Chaney game.
Yeah.
I went down there prepared.
Oh, yeah.
To go scorched earth. And I sat in that seat and I literally bit my tongue. And I gave Mario the dirtiest look. And where I was sitting that week was right on the aisle. So we caught eyes. So there was no verbal communication. He knew what I was thinking, and he knew how I felt. I guarantee you that. It was not appropriate to move forward. So and all the answers were placating baloney as well. So my blood just kept boiling more and more. And trust and believe, I wanted to. But again, you have to have a measure of decorum in these spaces. And that's why I did not. And that's why you, dear listener, watcher, would not either.
Mm-hmm. On that note, we will get out of here. We will talk to you next time, hopefully after a win against a Syracuse team, which is fired coaches and doesn't know who their quarterback is because their starter got hurt and the dude they was supposed to replace him wasn't good and he got subbed out and they put in walk-on freshmen in and they don't know what's going on. So hopefully we can beat this team because if not, Sunday's show is going to be interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, just really quickly, we haven't even talked about the game. Do you think that we're going to win? Is it what do you think? What do you think?
Don't care. I know this. If the spread's still like 30 or whatever it was.
28.5.
Yeah, I'll be happy to not think that Miami is. I'm trying to think of a way not to say to pick Syracuse, but I'd be happy to wait.
You're going to take the points.
Yeah, I'd be happy to think that Miami is not going to beat Syracuse by 29 points or whatever it is.
Okay.
Have I already locked that in? It's possible that I already did as soon as the number came out.
Okay. Duly noted.
I will see you in the very chilly press box, my friend. I ordered a new hoodie just for the occasion.
I was gonna say because Brian sits directly under the AC vent.
Yes.
He complains about not having.
Well,
because
you and Brandon, everybody always it comes prepared with long sleeves, and I forgot a hoodie, and I turned into a snowman. It was ridiculous.
The man was shivering next to me, bro. It was bad. I think he had like 7 cups of coffee that night. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot. All right. Go check out Cam's work at StateOfTheU.com. There's great stuff over there. Go check Cam out on Twitter at Underwood Sports. I'm Brian the Beast London. Follow me at Miami Radio Beast. We'll see you next time right here on the Real Ones Games podcast. Peace.